Assalamualaikum and hi. Now we go to the module 4, which is titled of Activities in Logistical Channel. Okay, so in this module, actually it's divided into 4 modules, and the first part of this module will discuss on the customer service and demand forecasting. As I mentioned before, on the first part of this module, need to discuss on the customer service. Have you ever heard that any organization said that keeping existing customers happy? So it shows that customer service is very important to any organization or any industry. So what is the definition of customer service? Generally, customer service involves making sure that the right person receives the right product at the right place, at the right time, in the right condition, and at the right cost. So you have to keep in your mind that when you talk about the customer service, it involves all these elements: right person, right product, right place, right time, right conditions, and right cost. So these 6 elements have to be applied to any organization in the world. So why do the customer service is very important, and why does it related to the logistic process? Customer service is very important in ensure that we as a retailers or we as a distributors or manufacturers, we are able to meet what the customer wants and their requirements. Because if we lose one customer, it means we'll only able to be at par. We cannot meet their expectations. So this is very dangerous for us to be competitive in very highly competitive industry, especially retailers. So you also need to remember that customer is not only the external customer. External customer means the end users, the buyer, okay? But then the customer also involves the parties, okay? The people who in the organizations. Example, suppliers. Suppliers also your customer. If you are the distributors, retailers will be your customer. And of course, for the retailers, the customers will be the end user. It goes to demand forecasting. So I want you to think, why do the customer service is related to demand forecasting? Why I have combined these 2 subtopics and merge it into one part. Okay, so I need you to think, why do the demand forecasting is very important to the customer service? Okay, there will be so many answers, and of course one of the answer will be because when you have a good demand forecasting, for ensure you it shows that you have also good customer service, because customer service is not only the customers is satisfied with your services, but then when you have good customer service, it shows that your image of the outlet, okay, your image as the good retailers, your image as a good distributors. So when you have good good strategies of demand forecasting, for sure it will lead to good customer service. In example, let's say there will be a Chinese New Year, a festive season. So we as distributors, we need to do a demand forecasting. We need to forecast how many retailers or how many end users will demand for it. So we as distributors, we need to do demand forecasting from the end user side, and we need to give the information to the manufacturer. If we have give a good information, right information, so the products that we want to sell to our end users will be enough, will be sufficient. Okay, so it will create happiness, it will create satisfactions among the end users. It will be the same things happens to the relationship of the manufacturers and the distributors. Okay, when you as a manufacturers, you able to focus in a good way. Okay, so you will be able to meet how many units that will be required by the distributors. So this is why the reason that the demand forecasting is putting together with the customer service, because they are interrelated activities. So what do you understand about the demand forecasting? When we talk about the demand forecasting, it means by theory, it means that the creation across the supply chain and its markets of a coordinated flow of demand. And the demand forecasting is important in two situations. It is important in make to stock situations. Make to stock situations means when the finished goods are produced prior to receiving a customer order. And the second situation is in make to order situations. This is happen when the finished goods are produced after receiving a customer order. Okay, so in demand forecasting, what do you need to understand? You have a few types of demand forecasting. You have a few types of strategies in forecasting the demand. Okay, so the first one of the demand forecasting is you need to do a calculation. Okay, this is what we call as forecasting. Okay, you need to do a demand forecasting models. Okay, some retailers or distributors, they use the judgmental forecasting. Judgmental forecasting, which is almost of the forecasting decisions comes from the intuition, and usually it is preferred in situations where there is limited or no historical data. Okay, especially a new product introduction, a new product to the market. So usually the retailers, they use the judgmental forecasting. So actually this concept is also applied to the manufacturers. And the second one in the demand forecasting models is the time series forecasting. Time series forecasting is quite easy, okay, because they already have the data, which is the future demand is solely depend on the past demand, depend on the historical sales. Okay, let's say this year the demand for the orange, okay, for the tangerine during Chinese New Year is 7% higher than last year's sales. So that assumes in the time series, that assumes that for this year's for the next year sales, that will be increase about 7%. Okay. In this kind of models, it involves the calculation by summing up the demand across different time periods. Okay, so there is the calculation on forecast the demand, which is using the time series. And the third one is cause and effect. Cause and effect forecasting, it is usually assumes that one or more factors that are related to demand, and this relationship between cause and effect can be used to estimate the future demand. Okay, so there also calculation in these types of model. Okay, now we goes to the order management. Okay, what is the order management? Order management usually refers to management of the activities, of the various activities which is associated, related to the order cycle. So what is the order cycle? In a simple language, in simple way, it means the replenishment cycle or lead time. Okay, so actually it refers to the time from when a customer, the end user, places an order to when the order is received. Okay, this is what we call as order cycles. Okay, or also order management. So in order management, it involves 4 stages, 4 steps in completing the order by the customers. Okay, the first one is the order transmittal. Okay, the transmittal, order transmittal is refers to the time when the customer places an order until the seller receives the order. Okay, usually it can be from in person, through emails, through telephone, or through the social media, through Shopee, okay, through the Shopee platform, through the online platform, okay. And what is the order processing? Order processing, usually it refers to the time when from the time the seller receive an order until an appropriate location like as warehouse is authorized to fill the order. Okay, and what is the order picking and assembly? Okay, order picking and assembly, it refers to the all the activities when an appropriate location is authorized from the warehouse example, and is to fill out the order until the goods are loaded aboard an outbound carrier. Okay, through the order picking and assembly, actually in the order picking and assembly is the time when the logistician able to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of the order cycles, especially in order picking and assembly. Okay, because usually in the process of order picking and assembly, it involves up to 2/3 of the facilities operating costs. Okay, if it cannot be handled in very efficient way, it will lead to the uh, increase of the cost, increasing in the operational costs. Okay, and the last one is order delivery. This is the final phase of the order cycle of the order management. Okay, this is where the time from when a transportation carriers pick up the shipments until it received by the customer. Okay, I'm sure you will understand what is the order delivery. Okay, usually we receive a message from a Shopee say that our goods have been shipping out by the carrier. Okay, so this is example of order delivery. Okay, it shows that the transportation carrier picks up the shipment until we receive the goods. All right, okay.